Good morning, everybody. My name's Jake, and welcome to Wednesday, July 23rd's 10 out of 10 puzzle. So these can generally go two ways for me. Either I spot the tricks and I can kind of see everything, or it becomes tedious with about an hour and a half of grinding. So we will see how this goes. So instantly, we have our normal tricks, which we are 6 over 90. So you know this has to have a 6 here. And this has a 1, 2. So the 2 is removed there. This has a 1, 3. So that's 3, 8, or 4, 7. 2 is removed here, 6 is removed here. So this is a 3, 8, 4, 7 here. Quadruple, which would leave 5 and 9, I believe. Okay. So now what do we need here? Generally, these triple cages, or these triples, aren't the best to go for. That's a 14 and 3, not very useful. You know, this is going to be missing a 3, and we need 3 in both of these rows, so both of these cages will have a 3 in them, which is very helpful, but for the future, I will mark those out. And now, what are we missing here? This were to be, this couldn't be 6, 7, 8, because the 6 would have to go here, and then 7, 8 would mess up this cage. So you know it's going to have a 9 in it somewhere. Do those 3 cells see everything? Those all see this, but not very helpful either. This, again, for the same logic, is gone. The only other 6 here would be 2 and 5. So that would remove 1, 6, 2, 5, and then you'd be left with 3, 4, which would leave you with a 7, 8 here. 6, 2, 5, 7, 8. Not sure. What does this cage add up to? Under 180 by about 16 and 3. And this one's under 180 by about 12 and 3. Let's check both of those, because did I mess it up? Is my calculator broken? Let's see here. Must be broken. And 3. Yep, without a 9 or a 5 here. Not very helpful. 16 and 3. Without a 9 or a 5. A little bit more helpful. It's going to have a 7 or an 8. 1 to it. A 6 or a 7 there. Not helpful at all. Okay. Let's see here. Where does your 6 go here? For 9. 4, 9 would leave you with a 9 and 5, 7 here. 4, 5. 4, 5, which would leave you with a 1, 6. Yeah, 4, 9, 5, 7, 1, 6. And you're left with a 4, 9, 5, 7, 7, 1, 6, which should leave you with a 2, 3, and an 8 here. You get 3 or 8, you hit your 4 or 7, 2, 3, or 8, which is very much possible. 1, 5, 2, 4. Maybe here. So need to at least be, this needs to at least add to a 6 here, I believe. 6, 7, 10, or 11. Not helpful. Well, where does your 3 go here? It goes either here or here. We'll see if that's helpful. Not very. Oh wait, but 3 can't go here. So 3 must go here, which is a little bit more helpful. Three here would force a 3 here and a 3 here. So, well, 3 obviously can't go there. It's, I think, the same logic here. So the only way 3 could go here is if it were to be 1, 9. We do have a 3 here, which again isn't too helpful. Now, five and 6. Your 6 is going to go in one of these. This obviously couldn't be 1, 3, 9. Oh, 3, 2, and 8. 3, 2, 8, which would leave you with a 1, 3, 3 and 8, so 4, 7, and then you'd be left with a 5, 6, 9. But 5 would go here, so 6, 9 would go here. And then you'd be left with a 4. You're left with 3 and 4. 4, which will leave 8 and a 4. You'd be left with a 1 here, so you get 3 and 1. But you have 5 and then 1, and then you'd be left with 3 and 1. But there's a 3, a 2, 8, so that's a 1. And then that would eliminate the 1 here. Yeah, so my logic goes, if this were to be 3 here, and then a 2, 8, you'd be left with 4, 7, 1, 3. You'd be left with 5, 6, 9. 5 would have to go here, 1 would have to go here, 3 would have to go here, and then 1 would have to go here, which would break. So that can't be 3, 2, 8. Could it be 3, 4, 6? It would be 4, 6. You'd get a 3, 8. So 1, 2, 4. Sorry, 4, 6, 3, 8. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4, so you'd be left again with a 5 and then a 1, and then a 3, 1, 2, 8, or 3, 6. 3, 6 would leave you with your 4, 7, 4, 7, 1, and 2. 7, 1, 2. So you'd be left with 8, 9, and 5. So 5 would go here, and then you'd be left with an 8, 9 here, which would leave you with a 2 here. Nine. 9. 9, 4, 7. You'd be left with a 3, 8. and then you'd be left with a 3, 8. Wait, 3, 6, 4, 7, 3, 8, and then your 1 would again go here, so your 3 would go here. So 3 actually cannot go in this box at all. Okay. So that's probably helpful. Three. Does this add up? We're at 20 and 3 here. 3, 8, 9 doesn't work because that would break that cage. 4, 7, 9 seems to not work for the same reason. And then you're left with a 5, 6 or a 5, 7. But 5, 6, 9 doesn't work because if this were to be 3, 8, 9, no matter what, one of those is a 3 or an 8. And then your other 3 or 8 goes here. So that breaks that. For the same reason, 4, 7 is gone. 6 is gone because of there. And you're left with 5, 7, or 8. So this cannot be a 9 there. One of those is going to be a 5. And then you are left with a 3 and a 4 there. That's 5, 7, 8. So again, 9 is gone from here. 3, 4 is gone from here. 9 is also gone from here. You need a 5, 7, or 8. And then now, you can't have a 5. Could you have a 1 here? 1 and a 5. 5, 7, or 8. 3, 4. 5, 7, or 8. So 5 nor 7 could go here. So I guess it could be a 9 and 5, 7. Or 8 and 4, 9 here. 4, 9 would leave you with your 3. 8, 7, 5. 5, 3, 4, 9 would all be gone. 9, and then you'd be left with 2, 6, or 1, 7. So you'd be left with a 1, 2, 6, or a 7. 1 or 2. 6 or a 7. So this would have to be a 2, 5 here, because this is a 6 or a 7. No. That's not right logic. 5, 7, and 8 are gone, so you do end up with a 1, 3, 6, which does leave you with a 5, 8 here. So now this needs to have a 5 or an 8. This couldn't be a 7 here. 7 here as a 5 or an 8. And so you end up with a 4 or a 7. If this were to be 4 and 8, that doesn't work. So, and then like, for the same reason, if this were to be 7 and 5, 7 and 5, obviously your 7 and your 5 can go there. So now 9 has to go here. And you're left with a 4 or a 7 here. And this is, well, I don't want to mark that yet. This is going to have a 2 in it no matter what here. So we've eliminated 2, 5. So now that's a 1, 4. And then 2, 5 here. 1, 3, 4. And now we're left with a 2 here. So 2, 5 is eliminated. Anyway, 1, 6 is there. And that's a 3, 4, or a 7. Has a 2 in it. And then 5, 7, or 8. And then does not have a 6 in it. So now we're left with, which leaves a 5 there. And now this can't be a 4, so that can't be a 7. Yeah, we're left with a 3, 4. And then we already knew that one, that's a 7 there. And so now we can pencil mark these, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 9. 2, 4, 9. So 4 and 9 is the only combination that can go there, which eliminates the 4, 1, and 3 there. And we're left with what here? 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 4. Well, your 4 is obviously gone there, so then that makes an 8 and a 7. 7, your 4 and your 7 is gone here. This makes a 5, this makes a 1. And now the entire puzzle is unraveling here. What were we missing here? 2, 4, 9. And then again, 5, 7, and 8. 7 and 8. 5, 7, or 8. Yes, your 4, 9 is gone here. 5, 8, or 6 here. So it's only a 6 or 8. So that can no longer be that can no longer be an 8. Because then that would force a 5 here, which would not work. So you do need an 8 in here. So that is incredibly unhelpful. And you need a 2 in here. Again, not very helpful. 9s are gone from here. So our 3s. So 2, 3, 8. Okay. So how much over are we in this cage here? We're left with an 8 on top of that, and we're already 2 under. So these have to add to a 10, it looks like. 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, or 4, 6. I'm reluctant to pencil mark this, but I might have to here. 1, 9. Well, we know 9 can't go in this cage, so it would have to be 9, 1, and then 2 or 8 can go in either of them. 2, 8, 2, 8, 3, 7, and then this is an atrocious pencil mark, 6 and 4 here. Not amazing. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. We know 3 can't go here, so 7 can't go here either. 1, 2, 6, or 8. It obviously can't be 2, 5, 6. So yes, 5 can't go in here now. And we're left with 1, 2, or 8 here. 6 and 4 are removed. 2 would give you a 4, 7, which is fine. And it would have to be, I don't believe 8 could go here, because then where would the 1 go? So 8 is removed, so 2 is removed. Left with a 1 or a 2, and your 4 goes here with a 7 or an 8, and then that means what has to go here? A 6 must go here with a 7 or an 8. I must have messed something up here. Because what did I mess up here? 1 or 2, 4, and then a 7 or an 8. Well, no, 8 can't go here in general. That's what I messed up. So, yeah, 8 and 1 doesn't work, so that has to be a 2, and then an 8 with a 4 or a 7, and that leaves you with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Yes, I did mess this up here. How much are we over here? This has to be a plus 8, which means we're 6 over, not 10 over. Okay, let's go back here, because I don't want to get that wrong with faulty logic. Yeah, we are 6 over, so it's a 1, 5, or a 2, 4. 1, 5, or a 2 and a 4 because of this 4 here. So we're left with a 1, 2, or a 5 here. 5. For same reason, 1, 3 is gone. 1, 5 is gone. 3, 8 is gone. 2, 5 is gone. 1, 8 is gone. So we're still left with a 2, 4, or a 7, and that can't be a 4, or 1 and a 5. So that's still a 2, that's still a 4 there. And then that must be 7, that must be 4. And then we need a 4 with a 6 and a 9, it looks like. So now, after all of that, maybe we can revisit this 12 and 3. Or did we? No, this 12 and 3. See how much this has to add up to in order to get to 3 or 8. So we're under 225 by about 3. Because every row has to add up to 45, and there are 5 of them, which does add up to 225. So in order to get to 3, it would have to add us to a 6, which would be 1, 5. Or it would have to add to an 8. Or it would have to add to an 11 to get an 8. So we either get the 1, 5 for the 6, or for 11, 2, 9, 3, 8 is gone because it would eliminate that. 4, 7, and then 5 or 6. So no matter what, this has to have a 5 here. 5, 6. Okay. Now. 7, 2, 4, 9 here. 5, 6. 3, 6 gives you 5, 6, and 3 gives you 14. Let me just make sure I did this correctly here. So this, all of these must add to 14. We must be 14 under. Yeah, we are 14 under. So I did do that correctly. 5, so we're left with 6, 9, 1, 6, 9, 3, 8. 3 goes here. What is this? This is a 2, 1, 2, 3, 6, and 8. And this is a 7 and a 4 and a 7 there. 4 and a 7, 2, 6, 8. So where does your 1 go? It goes here or here. And then 1, 2, and these have to be 2, 6, or 8 there. 6 or 8, 2, 6, or 8. So that means whatever this digit is, if this is a 2, then it must go here or here. If it's a 2, it must go here. If it's a 6, it must go here or here, and then 8 follows as well. This needs a 2, needs a 1, 5, or a 6. This doesn't have 1, 5, or 6. Then maybe it's time to look at some other gauges here. I think we know the value of this cell now, because this number here will cut this box here, which leaves us with a 25. So 25 plus 7 here. Oh, I didn't mean to highlight that. So this sum plus 32 leaves us with 134. And now 134 is about 1 under 135. 25 plus 7 is 32, which leaves us with a 34. So now that has to be a 1 there. This could not be a 2, because then where would the 2 go here? So these are the same digit. Now our 1 must go in here. Six or 8. Oh, 4 is removed there. Can we do the same? No, we can't do the same logic on this side. One is removed from here. Still needs a 3, this needs a 3. This also needs a 2, so where does our 2 go here? It would have to go, could it go here? Could it go here? Probably. I'm looking for some more unique ways to cut up this puzzle, but I don't exactly see any right now. I mean, this is a shot in the dark, but let's take a look here. So we're already, this has to add up to at least 7. Well, it obviously couldn't be, if this were to be 7, it would be 91, which doesn't work. So 1 and 2, it has to add up to at least 3, so it has to add up to at least 9 here. Here. And then I don't feel like doing that calculation right now. This has to have an 8 in it. It can't have a 4. It also has to have a 2 now. So that removes those there. Then it needs a 8 and then a 5 or a 7, which goes here. So 5 doesn't work here because that would force 7 and 8, which doesn't work. So now we know 5 has to go here with our 1 or 6 because this either has to add up to 6 or to 11 in order to get that 3 or 8 there. So that's a 1 or a 6, but it does not have a 6. So now this has to be a 1. And then this means this has to be a 3, which makes it 8 there. Make sure we did that right. 1 with a 2, and then we're left with, this does not have a 5 anymore, so then that has to be a 5, which means that has to be an 8 here. Now we have our 7, 8, which does leave a 2, 9, which eliminates the 9, and the 4 eliminates 9s here. So 2, 4, 5 does not have a 5 in it. 2, 4, 5 does not have 2, 4, 5, which does leave a 6 and a 7 here, which we could have gotten by normal Sudoku. 6, 9, and 3 are missing, so this can't be 6, so that's a 3 or a 9. 9, and then this is a 6 or a 3 here, because that's a 9. Now 1 is eliminated from here. It needs a 6 or a 3. Fours. Could 4 go here? 4, 9 is gone here because of these guys. 2, 8's gone because of that. So 3, 6, 3, 5, 8, or 3, 6, 7. 3, 6, 7 would leave you with a 1, 8 there. This needs a 3 no matter what, so 3 has to go here somewhere. We're left with 6, 6, 7, and 5. So where does your 5 go? 5 could go here with an 8. 5 could go... I'm just going to pencil mark this. Could 5 go here with an 8? Yeah, 5, 8 can go in either place here. 5 can go here with an 8, and then I'm actually not going to pencil mark that. There. So this can no longer have a 1 in it. Has to have a 3. 4, 8, 5. 4, 8, 4, 5. So I guess we could have a 5, 4. 5, 4, and 7, 9. That would leave a 2. And then 4, 8. So it would have to be 4, 8 doesn't work here. So it has a 4 or an 8. Because if this were to be 4, 8, they would have to both go in there, which would not work. So that cell has to be a 4 or an 8, and we're left with a 9 here somewhere, which is placed here now. Left with 3, 9, 4, 8, 4, 8, and then we're left with 2 and a 6 or a 5 and a 7, but 2 can't go in here. So we are left with a 4, and then we're left with a 5 and a 7. 2 can't go here because of this, which now 5 or 7 must go here. But that, yeah, that can all, wait. Could this, yeah, 5, 5, 7. 5, 8 is gone, yeah. So that's a 3, 6, and that leaves a 7 here. Now 6 is gone, 1, there we are, 7 is gone, 7 is gone, that leaves a 7 there. Now 2, 4, which must go here. 9 is gone there. And now it seems we can just do a lot of Sudoku here. 1, 2, 3 is placed here. 3, 4. Our 5 is placed here. Our 6 is placed here. And then 7's there, 8. So we're left with 8 and 2, which leaves you with 3, 8, and then a 2, 5 there, because this can only be 3, 8 there. So 2 couldn't go there. 2, 9, 2. And now probably just Sudoku here. 7's 1, 3, 9 would work. 4's are gone here because of those 2. Now left with a 3 or a 9 there. So you're left with 1, 3, 9, or 2, 3, and 8, which would work, I believe. 7's are gone from here. 4's are gone as well. So you need a 1, which goes here, which eliminates the 1. That has to be a 3. That has to be a 6 and a 3. 6 and a 9 there. So you need 1 and 9, which go here. This is a 5, 6, 8, but 5 can only go here with a 6 or an 8. You're left with an 8 there and a 2 there. 2, 4, 8, 5, 3 is gone there. And there must just be Sudoku that's left. 6, 7 here. 8 can't go there, so we're left with 6 and 8, which also makes an 8 there. 6, 7, 6, 1 is gone from there. And now 6 must go there, and I didn't mess that up. 3 is gone there, which eliminates 1 and 1, so our 1 has to go here now. This is 1, 2, we're missing a 3 there, we're missing a 4 there, and we are left with 9 and 7. 7 and 9. 8's gives you 3, 8. 8's are gone from there. 6, 2, 2, 5, Power 4, 7, 7, 9, 9, and 5. That's the puzzle in 35 minutes exactly. Hope you guys have a great day.